Manufacturers imagined a doomsday scenario where consumers actually knew what chemicals were in their everyday products.
Shampoo, conditioner, deodorant, toothpaste, moisturizer, hand sanitizer. Like, you pick up a product and you don't really even think about that you're using yet another product. And each one of those products has 15 or 20 synthetic chemicals. Your body burden's enormous. You know, you're just dumping all this toxic stuff into your bloodstream.
We find known human carcinogens, chemicals that cause reproductive harm, hormone disruptors. Are they safe? Absolutely not.
They say it's just low levels of any given toxic chemical. Just a little bit of carcinogen in the baby shampoo, a little bit of lead in the lipstick. But those low levels are adding up every single day.
But instead of reformulating to make safer products that could cost a little more, the industry opened up a new front on the war on cancer. But this wasn't a fight to get carcinogens out of products. It was a fight to keep them in.
The time to act is now, and I'm seeking bipartisan support. And I want to get a vote promptly to help our children by protecting them from harmful exposure to chemicals.
So far, it's been a tough fight, as chemical companies have every incentive to make sure this pro-industry law remains intact. The questions don't stop there. What are the causes of the increased rates of childhood brain cancer, asthma, leukemia in children, early onset puberty, ADHD, genital deformities in baby boys, and life-threatening birth defects? All are on the rise since the dawn of the modern chemical revolution. As industry fights to maintain the status quo, babies all over the world are being born pre-polluted. This baby was born in Northern California on November 26, 2011. At birth, blood from his umbilical cord was taken to a lab for testing. In his blood, scientists found 28 chemicals and markers indicating there are likely to be 400 more. The baby hadn't eaten food, drank water, or breathed air, but still these chemicals coursed through his veins.
I got involved in the Marin Cancer Project, which was an organization started because the breast cancer rates in my hometown have risen 60% in 8 years. I read that in the local newspaper and I was really upset about it, and there were a lot of people in my life that were going through cancer. I just felt this urge to step up and take action because I didn't want to wait around for more people to get cancer. And so I got involved with that campaign and went door to door in 2002 and conducted this survey to Marin residents, asking them about the products they used, the food they ate, if they had cancer in their households, what jobs they did, all sorts of questions. And one of the questions really spoke out to me, and it had to do with the cosmetics and personal care products that you used. And I was really confused. I was 12 at the time, and I was like, what do these products have to do with cancer or health problems? For me, that was so scary because I was already using cosmetics. I can pretend to be a makeup artist today. Then I became one of the founding members of Teens for Safe Cosmetics, which is now called Teens Turning Green. It became the most important thing in my life just because it's something that it's relevant every single day. I wake up and I wash my face and I brush my teeth and I put on cosmetics and take showers, and so you start to think about it and then you start to think about everything in your life. For me, it's just become my biggest passion. It's something that I want to work on until these chemicals are banned in total. Companies can put any raw ingredient into products and they're not even tested for safety. We're trying to support companies that aren't using toxic chemicals, and we're also trying to advocate for legislation protecting our health.
The environmental working group contacted me. They wanted to test 20 girls across the country for levels of chemicals particularly found in cosmetic products. And of course I said yes.
It says here, Jessica Asoff's blood and urine contained 13 of 25 industrial compounds, pollutants, and other chemicals tested, including chemicals linked to immune system toxicity, endocrine system toxicity, and cancer. 5 out of the 6 parabens tested were found in my body. Parabens are preservatives in cosmetics and may be linked to hormone disruption and breast cancer. The skin is the body's biggest organ, so everything we put on our skin is absorbed into our bloodstream.
The fact that any of these chemicals exist in my body is so frightening, but so empowering at the same time because that's all the evidence I need to really affect change.
You can't explain men with hormone replacement therapy, later childbirth, not nursing babies, birth control pills, anything you want to put in there, and yet you still have the same pattern. So what's going on?
Hi, baby. Go ahead. Go, go, go. I was diagnosed at 37 with invasive ductal carcinoma, stage 2. My cancer wanted to move. So we threw everything at it: chemo, radiation, surgeries, mastectomy, hormone treatment, etc. Right away, somebody had emailed me a link to the Young Survival Coalition, which is a website and a support group designed for women under 40 who have been diagnosed with breast cancer. And what was interesting was to see that a lot of these women were in the same boat. They had done everything right. A lot of them were people who never drank alcohol, never ate meat, exercised constantly, and had no family history. So you start to wonder, what's the connection? Why are women this young getting cancer? Why did I get cancer?
Baby, they're finding 287 carcinogens.
Yeah,
toxic chemicals
so they
that are already in the baby.
Babies are born pre-polluted with toxic chemicals. They found 200, they tested for 300 chemicals. They found 287 chemicals in newborn babies.
That are coming from flame retardants, coming from Teflon.
From all the products we use.
Not necessarily coming from things we ingest.
People used to think the placenta was blocking these chemicals, but it doesn't. So what the mother's putting in their body, putting on their body, what's around their body is going into the newborn. It's like you're put in a situation where you have to protect two little kids. My kids were 2 and 5 at the time. And so, you know, that's always in the back of your mind. And in no way in the film do I suggest that those chemicals were the cause of the cancer. But you do have to wonder the cumulative impact of all these chemicals, how they're, what they're doing to all of our bodies. I mean, the average woman uses 12 products a day that have fragrance in it. It could have hundreds of different chemicals. And when these mixtures go in your body, we really don't know what's happening. But you can see that chronic disease over the last 40 years is on the rise, and people are starting to ask questions.
Yeah, we're wondering, you know, autism, Alzheimer's, right? MS, like ALS. Nobody knows where these things come from, but more and more people have them.
Yeah.
All the time, and cancer, obviously, lots and lots of cancer.
Yeah. Now, 50% of Americans will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. So there's something called the fragrance loophole. So if you look on a product label, you'll see the word fragrance, and it appears to be a singular ingredient, but it's actually a placeholder. It's used in lieu of disclosing the actual ingredients, which could be hundreds of ingredients. And because what you'll find out in the film, there really are no regulations, so that companies can use whatever chemicals they want. And you'll just see the word fragrance. And the interesting thing is that in Europe, for example, there's 1,400 chemicals you can't use in personal care products. In the United States, it's 10. So it's legal to use chemicals that cause cancer and birth defects, and you don't even have to disclose it on the label, because you'll just see the word fragrance, which most people see and think is a good thing. It's like positive camouflage.
And they don't have to disclose it to anybody. They don't even have to disclose it to the FDA or anybody, right?
Not only do they
the government has no oversight.
The FDA is not legally, they're not allowed to ask a company it regulates to demand a list of all the ingredients.
Getting people to understand how chemicals affect our health and our bodies, and then helping them to make personal, like small changes at home, and then getting them involved and engaged in knowing that they can make bigger changes at the state level or federal level, and just getting involved in their local communities and taking action.